Assalamu alaikum students. This is the explanation part 2 of chapter number 1 Bahlol. In the previous lecture I have explained half of the story in which we have studied about Bahlol's character and except this how and what this served to the visitors who came to meet Bahlol's owner. So let's continue the story. When Bahlol called everyone for supper, Madam asked Bahlol, "Have you fed the chickens?" And he replied, "Yes, madam." And after replying this, he ran out of the room. वो अचानक से रूम से बाहर भागता हुआ चला गया. The owner thought that he ran out in order to check if the chickens are still alive. Then she started eating hungrily in tension. उन्हें इस बात की टेंशन हो रही थी कि वो चिकन्स को देखने गया कि चिकन ज़िंदा है या उन्हें कुछ हो गया है, क्योंकि वो जो फूड उन्होंने चिकन को दिया था वही फूड उन्होंने अपने गेस्ट को भी सर्व किया, तो वो इस बात की टेंशन में थी. एंड आफ्टर द मील the guest and owner were having a chat. Suddenly, Bahlol burst into the room. He was like, "Madam, madam, the chickens." And the owner asked, "What's the matter? What about the chickens? क्या हुआ chickens को?" Then she looked at the empty plates and stood up. She was looking nervously at her guest. वो बहलोल को इस तरह से देख के और नर्वस हो गई और जो है वो अचानक से खड़ी होकर जो है अपने गेस्ट को देखने लगी. Bahlol replied, "They are dead, madam." Then she exclaimed, "Dead? What? All of them?" She was like, "What? All of them? सारी chickens जो हैं वो dead हैं." Then she explained her visitors that the cook fed some of our food to the chickens and they have all died. She said, "I have to call for the doctor." She asked the visitors to go to bathroom and be sick, as she didn't want them to suffer from food poisoning. उनके गेस्ट भी बहुत शॉक हो गए ये सब चीज़ें सुन के, एंड शी वॉज एक्सट्रीमली सॉरी एंड शी अपोलोजाइज्ड फॉर दिस. बोथ द विजिटर्स नेवर हैड रिसीव्ड सच अ रिक्वेस्ट इन देयर लाइफ एंड द ओनर नेवर हैड गिवन सच एन एडवाइस इन ऑल हर लाइफ. And in just half an hour, too much panic was created there, as the counselor and his wife looked very green. They were looking very green, and वहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा panic create हो गया था. Then they all collapsed into comfortable chairs of sitting room. They sat by the fire looking into flames, and they all were trying not to think about what had happened. अक्सर हमारे साथ भी कुछ ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स हो जाते हैं जो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि हम उन्हें भुला दें तो बेहतर है. तो वो लोग भी यही कर रहे थे कि उन्होंने सोचा कि अब इस बारे में हम बात नहीं करते, एंड कुछ जो है वो लोग टाइम खामोशी से बैठे रहे एंड फ्लेम्स को देखते रहे. देन द ओनर वेंट टू द किचन टू चेक बहलोल, and Bahlol had looked so upset and he was sitting on the doorstep. She came there to console Bahlol. उन्हें वो कंसोल करने आई थी कि तुम्हारी गलती नहीं है, and she said, "It's not your fault. I'm sure our visitors will be all right. हमारे गेस्ट बिल्कुल ठीक हो जाएंगे." तो वो उन्हें जो है अपनी बातों से कंफर्ट प्रोवाइड कर रही थी, उन्हें कंसोल कर रही थी. एंड Bahlol looked up at her with tear-filled eyes. Then she suggested Bahlol to collect the dead chickens and throw them. And Bahlol gave a blank look on her suggestion. मतलब जब उन्होंने ये सजेस्ट किया कि अब हमें जो भी डेड चिकन्स हैं उन्हें थ्रो कर देना चाहिए आउट ऑफ द हाउस, तो बहलोल जो है वो उन्हें ब्लैंक लुक देने लगा. मतलब बहलोल के पास कोई आंसर नहीं था इस बात का. शी आस्क्ड, "वेयर आर द डेड चिकन्स?" एंड इंस्टेड ऑफ आंसरिंग हर, ही आस्क्ड अनदर क्वेश्चन, "हाउ कैन वी फाइंड द चिकन्स?" Bahlol asked this question. Madam said to Bahlol that they must be in the backyard somewhere. उन्होंने कहा कि चिकन्स जो है वो डेड है तो कहीं ना कहीं तो होंगी ही बैकयार्ड में या कहीं भी बाहर होंगी. एंड Bahlol said, "No, the chickens are not here. I told you they are dead." Then she asked with irritation, "But where are the chickens?" उन्होंने पूछा कि ठीक है चिकन्स डेड है लेकिन उनकी डेड बॉडीज़ कहाँ हैं? Where are the chickens? He replied, "I don't know, as the fox killed them and took them away somewhere." Madam asked that did they not die of food poisoning? Bahlol replied, "No, madam, a fox killed them." Then she took a deep breath. She got relaxed, but she was too much angry on Bahlol as he didn't clear the confusion about the death of chickens, which made her so afraid. Besides this, she became happy to know that the chickens did not die of food poisoning and her guests are absolutely fine. So, this is the end of this story, and I hope you liked it as it is a very funny story. On the next lecture, in the next lecture, you will be given the copywork of this chapter. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.